Chapter 333, Master and Brother. All of you. Elder Zhu Luo's gloomy voice rang out, his deep eyes scanning the many bigwigs of the devil sect present. But wherever they were swept by his gaze, these devil sect elders whose strength had reached the harmonization stage were also trembling with fear and trembling one by one. Elder Zhu Luo's mighty name and only resounded through the devil sect, but in the entire Flood continent, it was all talked about. It was once speculated that among the top 6 sects in the Flood continent, apart from the patriarchs of the major sects, there were only 4 people with the strongest strength. These 4 people were the Demon Sect's Shura Elder, the Heavenly Tao Sect's Law Enforcement Elder, the 10,000 Buddhist Sect's Demon Buddha, and the 10,000 Demons Hall's Beihei Hall Master. Among these 4, it was the Devil Sect's Elder Zhu Luo who killed the most people, and legend had it that one of his glances contained a materialized murderous aura, and without sufficient strength, even one of Elder Zhu Luo's gazes couldn't withstand it. In the entire Devil Sect, other than the Devil Sect Patriarch, everyone else was afraid of Elder Zhu Luo. Perhaps it was because of this that the Demon Sect Patriarch had arranged for Elder Zhu Luo to be at the Orthodox Demon battlefield, allowing him to sit here, thus causing those within the Demon Sect who feared Elder Zhu Luo to breathe a sigh of relief. Kangtia ... For this son, what do you think? Elder Zhu Luo said in a deep voice. The people within the hall didn't dare to make a sound and looked at each other. Finally, after a period of silence, a peak harmonization stage Devil Sect elder opened his mouth and said, to possess such a talent, it must be a special bloodline. And it's not just any special bloodline. This point must be investigated clearly. The cultivator elder nodded in satisfaction. Then his eyes turned cold and said grimly, even the heterogeneous heavenly tribulation appeared, even if it's not one of the top 10 special bloodlines in the cultivation world, it cannot be underestimated. After a slight pause, Elder Zhu Luo said morosely, this son's talent is on par with Dao Yi and Jiao Wuji. Once he grows up, the harm he will cause to my demon sect will not be small. He must be eradicated as soon as possible. Elder Zhu Luo, should we put him on the immortal execution list and have all the Devil Dao disciples in the Orthodox Devil battlefield hunt him down and kill him? A harmonization stage elder inquired. When Elder Zhu Luo heard this, he gazed at him coldly and said, what's the point of asking? Put him on the 10th position of the immortal punishment list. That Devil Sect elder smiled sarcastically and nodded his head in a hurry. Furthermore, the duo of Dao Yi and Jiao Wuji, why haven't they been eradicated until now? Elder Zhu Luo suddenly spoke in a deep voice. The crowd of Devil Sect bigwigs were silent at the words. After a long time, one of the elders whispered, reporting to Elder Zhu Luo, the competition between the 18 layers of hell and the true dragon graveyard is very strong, and it's difficult for us to send out strong individuals to kill these two during this period of time. Strong men. If my hallowed demon sect has to use strong men to kill these 2 little guys, then how will the cultivators of the Flood continent view my demon sect? Elder Zhu Luo sniffed coldly as he scanned the crowd and proudly said, our demon sect can bully the few with the many, but we can never bully the small with the big. All the bigwigs of the Devil Sect were speechless when they heard this. What kind of logic was this? What was the difference between bullying the small with the big and bullying the small with the many? However, they didn't dare to refute. They could only nod their heads one by one. Immediately promulgate the order of extermination. But anyone who kills Kangtia will receive military honors, equal to that of killing a peak harmonization stage powerhouse, and be bestowed with a king's grade treasure weapon. Elder Cultivator's final eerie words came out. This order, in just a few months, spread throughout the entire Devil Dao Alliance, and was learnt by all the Devil Dao disciples in the righteous Devil battlefield. For a time, Kang Chon's name became famous throughout the cultivation world. Many Devil Path powerhouses were rubbing their fists and palms together, traveling with each other, searching around for Kang Chon's traces on the orthodox Devil battlefield, preparing to hunt down and kill this Heaven's Path Sect's supreme genius. And in the Orthodox Alliance, the name Kangxia also began to enter the sights of a bunch of Orthodox sects, alongside Daoyi, Zhao Wuji, and other supreme geniuses. Until half a year later, but every cultivator who came to the Orthodox battlefield would know Kang Chon's great name, and if you didn't know, then you were definitely new. This was a complete sea change compared to half a year ago, when Kang Chon's name wasn't even very loud in the Thousand Blade Valley. However, what was puzzling was that in the past half a year, there was no news of Kangxia in the entire Orthodox battlefield, including the disciples of the Heavenly Dao sect, few of whom were able to know of Kang Chon's traces. Many of the Heavenly Dao sect's disciples were extremely curious about this Heavenly Dao sect's genius who had suddenly gained great fame. There were even people who had already pried out Kang Chon's identity and origins from within the sect. Law Enforcement Elder's personal disciple, the only absolute genius in the Demon Locking Tower who can rival Dao Yi. After these Kang Chon's deeds were dug out, a large number of Heavenly Dao sect disciples came to know that this Kang Chon's background was very uncomplicated. So it's no wonder that he was able to be ranked alongside Daoyi, Zhao Wuji, and the others. Just as the entire Orthodox battlefield was shaking because of Kangxia, who had been in seclusion for most of the year, finally repaired his injuries. Brother. In the cave where Kangxia was located, sensing the aura of Kang Chon's awakening, Little Gold, who had guarded this place for the greater part of the year, ran into the cave with a face full of surprise. In the cave, Kangxia slowly opened his eyes, and what met his eyes was Little Gold's familiar figure. Brother, how are you recovering from your injuries? Despite sensing that Kang Chon's aura was very powerful at the moment, Little Gold still asked with some concern. After all, Kang Chon had been injured too heavily in the first place. Don't worry, I've recovered all of it. Kangxia revealed a smile. What made him a little surprised was that as his cultivation increased, the life force hidden in Kang Chon's overbearing blood was also getting stronger and stronger. And it was thanks to this life force that his injuries recovered very quickly. Now that he was at his peak, his cultivation at the 5th level of the outbreathing stage, 32 times the force shock, and his fleshly body at the level of a medium-grade treasure weapon. All of these combined made his current strength reach the outbreathing stage invincible realm. If he displayed the strongest combat state of Kangxia hegemony blood, I'm afraid that an ordinary outblood stage invincible powerhouse wouldn't be a match for him. After we've met the 3rd young master, we'll head to the Land of Kings and search for the Dawnbreaker Immortal Mansion. Kangxia laughed. At this moment, he was extremely confident. With his powerful strength, as well as the instantaneous transfer divine ability attached to the sublime beheading, Kangxia believed that even an ordinary divine separation stage powerhouse would find it difficult to kill him. In the entire Orthodox battlefield, he believed that with his current strength, he should be very safe and could travel to any place. Of course, those forbidden places were excluded. Little Gold was filled with excitement. Soon after, Kangxia took out and removed the communication jade slip left behind by Qian Sanxiao, sending out a message to contact Qian Sanxiao. Cultivators could contact each other through communication jade slips once they reached the outbreathing stage. But Qian Sanxiao hadn't reached the outbreathing stage, so he could only receive Kang Chon's messages, not send them out. Well, again, this time it was Kangxia who contacted Qian Sanxiao, so Qian Sanxiao, who was recuperating in the Great Tang country, immediately received Kang Chon's message. Fatty 3. I'm out of the gate. Let's meet at Dark Gold Peak. This was a message from Kangxia. A strong person at the outbreathing stage could have their divine thoughts go out of their body. and leave a divine thought transmission in the communication jade slip, so that the other party of the slip would know about it. Chen Sanshao hadn't reached the out-of-body stage realm, but he didn't need to send a message back. As long as he followed the message on top of the jade slip and headed to Dark Gold Peak to round with Kangxia. Finally, out of the gate, a hint of joy flashed in Chen Sanshao's eyes. Then he bid farewell to his family and set off on the Heavenly Dao Sect's return journey. At this time, Kangxia also left the cave where he had been in seclusion for the majority of the year, preparing to return to the Heavenly Dao Sect. However, just as he was preparing to return, two acquaintances found him. Kangxia. Two familiar figures walked up to him. It was Huang Dao and Niu San. Kangxia and Zijin stopped slightly, and when they saw the visitors, they couldn't help but reveal a smile. The days when they had traveled to the Wind and Cloud continent together and conquered the sands together seemed to be vivid in their minds. Over these years, Kangxia had never seen Huang Dao and Niu San again, but he didn't want to see them today and just after leaving the gate. So it's senior brother Huang and brother Niu. You guys just came back from the battlefield? Kangxia asked with a smile, and Zijin on the side also greeted the two. Senior brother Huang is exempt, among the true disciples of the Heavenly Dao Sect now. Who dares to be your senior brother? Huang Dao smiled and shook his head. Yes, brother Kangxia, you've become famous in the cultivation world this time. Who in the entire Heavenly Dao Sect doesn't know your great name? I'm afraid that in the future, we'll all have to call you senior brother. Niu San also laughed. Kangxia and Zijin were a bit puzzled and had a puzzled look on their faces. In these half a year, Kangxia had been in seclusion, so naturally he was not clear about what was happening in the outside world. As for Little Gold, he had been protecting Kangxia at all times and had not left the cave even for a single step. So it was even more impossible for him to know what was happening in the outside world. Therefore, the two looked very puzzled at the moment. Huang Dao, however, thought that Kangxia was being modest and said with a smile, "The Devil Sect's Elder Zulu O personally issued the immortal execution order, offering a bounty for your head. And now the entire Devil Dao disciples in the Orthodox Devil battlefield are all searching for your whereabouts." Kangxia was dumbfounded when he heard this. The Devil Sect's Zulu O Elder. He had heard about him for a long time. That was a strong person on the same level as his master, the Law Enforcement Elder. Brother Kangxia, you are now ranked 10th on the Immortal Punishment list. Those Devil Sect disciples will not only be able to fire up a large amount of rewards if they kill you, they will also be able to become famous in one fell swoop. You must be careful, Niu San gruffly reminded. Immortal Execution List. Kangxia instantly understood. He was on the Immortal Execution List. It seemed that the matter of him in the Heavenly Tribulation, to exterminate those 3 outbreathing stage Emperor Seal powerhouses had spread out. Brother is on the Immortal Punishment list. Does that have my Little Gold's big name on it? Little Jin's face was filled with excitement as he sniffed. You're still far from it. To be on the Immortal Execution ranking, not only do you need strong talent, you also need notable battle results. Brother Kangxia was only included in the Immortal Punishment list by the Demon Sect because of his extermination of 3 out-of-body stage Seal Emperor powerhouses in a single battle, as well as that powerful talent. Huang Dao laughed. Humph, one day, I, Little Gold, will also be on the Immortal Punishment list. Little Gold hummed with some irritation. For not being on the Immortal Execution list, Little Gold was very upset and sulked on the side. Kangxia, on the other hand, talked with Huang Dao and Niu San, and from the conversation, he learnt about the things that had happened during the half year of his seclusion, which could almost be described as far and wide. At the same time, he also made it clear that at this moment, on the battlefield of the righteous devils, there were many strong devils waiting for him to appear, wanting to hunt and kill him. All of this was because of the immortal execution order issued by Elder Shura, Harmonization Stage Military Merit, and the King's Grade Treasure, TSK. Elder Zulu-O really thinks highly of me. Kang Tia laughed somewhat to himself as he listened. He could imagine how crazy those Devil Dao powerhouses should be under such a generous reward. More importantly, everyone now knew that he had a dawn-breaking immortal order in his possession, something that made some harmonization stage powerhouses go red in the eyes. Not to mention those Devil Dao powerhouses on the Orthodox battlefield. Brother Kangxia, I think that you have just broken through the outbreeding stage, so you can completely take advantage of this period of time to stabilize your cultivation, and in the meantime, avoid the wind, Niu San said gruffly. Huang Dao also nodded his head and said, well, Senior Brother Niu is right. The Orthodox battlefield is indeed too chaotic right now. Kang Tiao is very grateful for the two's kind reminder. He smiled and said, don't worry guys, for the time being. I won't go to the Orthodox demon battlefield. I'm still preparing to go back to the Heavenly Dao sect. When Huang Dao and Niu San heard this, they were slightly relieved. Then they exchanged communication jade slips with each other to facilitate communication at any time in the future. Now that the three of them were all strong at the out-of-body stage, they could completely use the communication jade slips to talk to each other in the future, instead of having to wait until they met in person to communicate.